guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
First one is titled, Story Time. Karen feels entitled to praise for paying a bill. I hope you guys enjoy this short but sweet story of a Karen who called into my job this week. Some rundown. I work in a call center. We sell furniture, and while customers can buy outright, most finance it through us for a markup like an Aaron's, but a little nicer setup. My department handles customer complaints and assists with warranty issues, stuff like that. Karen called in Thursday to file a complaint about the store manager at 6:55 p.m. We close at 7:00 and have to be on phones until 7:00 on the dot. So of course her call comes into my line. She hesitated to tell me the issue, stating it was probably stupid and you probably won't want to help with. It's you probably have better things to do. Now at this point she has not told me anything, so I encourage her to open up about it, ensuring that we care about whatever her issue is, and I'm happy to do what I can to help. She called the store to make her final payment on her account today and spoke with the store manager, James. He took her payment, and when that was completed, do you know what James had the audacity to do? He thanked her for her payment. I keep listening, but I'm sure that I'm missing something. She rambles on about how she was excited to make her payment and how she has been a customer for 20 years, etc., etc. At this point, I ask her to clarify the issue as politely as I can. Again, she hesitated, saying it's probably not that big of a deal and maybe she should let it go. At this point, I'm agreeing with her because I'm pretty sure I heard her correctly, but I keep providing good customer service and press her for some more details. So did he say anything to you that was rude in regards to the payment? I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I understood. No. Her complaint is that he only thanked her for her final payment. She called him back and she did not state what she had said on this call, but apparently accused him of poor service. As she remembered, he responded with, "How is that poor service? All you did was make a payment." Again, I am mildly confused and cannot truly believe this is the last call of the day for me. I've muted myself on the call and am expressing out loud to my team in disbelief. Returning to the customer, she asked me what the protocol was when a customer makes a final payment. I explained there is nothing solid in hand and sales associates and managers aren't trained specifically on that point. I advised we could bring it to the attention of our upper management team for coaching on improving customer connection, but that James sounded like he acted appropriately. She continued on, emphasizing again how she was a 20-year customer and how she felt that it was bad business. I asked her if she could provide me an example of what she felt would have been a better response. "Oh, congratulations on your final payment, and thank you for being such a long-term customer. Now that you've paid it off, maybe you can come see what's new in stock." I again reiterated we could have it addressed, but that they weren't currently required to say anything specific about payments being made, and added I hadn't had similar complaints. At this point, she has gained momentum and is no longer questioning it. She is filing a stupid complaint and begins demanding it be forwarded to the manager's boss. I advised that would be the regional manager. She said she wants it reported to him and wants a call back from him confirming proper protocol for when a customer makes a final payment. I advise again there is no proper protocol, it's just general customer service. Also that the regional manager wouldn't call back because this is a staff complaint and thus an internally handled matter. Basically, it's none of her damn business how we handle the complaint from here. She repeats, volume increasing, that either she gets a call back from him or she won't shop with us again. I just repeat it and she hang up on me furious. I call out to my manager asking if I have to actually file this stupid complaint, and she says, "Doug, no, we aren't actually sending something that's stupid to anyone. We documented the call, and that's it." Oh, and she's only been a customer for 11 years. Our system tracks it and shows us. We also all agreed that we would feel super uncomfortable as customers if we were congratulated in the way she described, patronized even, and she promptly became a meme for the next few days, where if anyone said thank you, we would do some form of "I'm filing a complaint on you because you didn't congratulate me." Next one is titled, Neighbor Risked Killing Her Own Grandchildren for My Parents' Property. Backstory. This happened in the 1990s. My parents own a 40-acre farm in the middle of nowhere. After 5 years, the trailer next door that was on 2.5 acres went up for sale. The dogs were put in a pen to go outside when the new neighbors were moving in. The husband looked like he killed his own mother and enjoyed it, but the dogs didn't even give off a whimper. The wife, when she came up the driveway, the dogs went nuts and wanted to tear into her. Our dogs are not violent, but we came later to understand why. My mom, being the nice southern lady that she is, went next door to introduce herself and wanted to know more about the new neighbor. It all seemed well until the wife asked who owned the field behind her house. Mom bashfully replied that it was hers and my dad's. After that, the conversation got awkward and Mom excused herself. A couple of weeks later, Mom and Dad were coming home from shopping and found 3 kids no older than 7 all over our farm equipment. Mom and Dad chased them off to the neighbor house. My mom went over and asked why those kids were over there. They found out it was the neighbor's grandchildren. When Mom told her that they needed to stay away from the farm equipment because one of them will get hurt, she said, "I don't care if one of them gets killed. I want that field one way or the other," pointing to the field behind her house. Mom and Dad immediately called the sheriff and an attorney to find out what they could do to protect themselves. They both said that they needed no trespassing sign every 100 if possible, especially where the equipment is normally stored and around the property. When Mom and Dad did that, the signs around the property were disappearing. One time, as Mom was coming down from a tree to put it high up to where they had to come on the property to get it down, a gun blast hit the sign above her head, and off in the distance was the wife yelling smugly, "Oops, I guess my gun went off accidentally." Things cooled down only when my brother came home on weekends from college to watch the house. Plus, my parents made their schedule more random during the week, so the neighbors didn't know if anyone was there or not. However, they were still causing problems like small things disappearing from our yard and them saying that it must be some druggie looking to steal anything for drugs. It was so bad at one point in time that Mom and Dad asked if they could buy their property. The property was worth $50,000 at the time. My parents offered $60,000. The wife said, "Sure, you can buy my property at $250,000. Take it or leave it." Even my parents' property at the time was not worth that much, so they left it. However, it took a turn for the better 2 years after the offer. The husband wanted a divorce from his wife. This was a grand total of 4 years of dealing with her. Side note, the husband never met my parents until he moved out a week prior. He said his wife told him that my parents, especially my mom, were crazy and for his safety needed to stay away from them after my mom's initial visit. When he finally found out that his wife was the one that was crazy, he left her. About a month after that, the husband came back talking about how the divorce was going and wanted to know if they were interested in the property. They told him about the offer 2 years ago, and he said he never heard about it, nor about his grandchildren coming over hoping that one of them would get hurt, but it didn't surprise him. When we told him how much we offered, he said, "The divorce attorney said that the sale of the house will be split 50/50. I don't care if you offer a nickel just to spite her." A week after that, the wife came to my parents' house asking if they were willing to buy at the $60,000 they offered initially. Mom and Dad said that they will buy it at what the appraiser will say it is worth. Because of the depreciation of the trailer and because the wife didn't take care of the trailer, it was appraised at $40,000. Mom was ready to be spiteful and offer $30,000, but Dad disagreed and said that would be a good restart for a guy that had to lie through this for all those years. Next one is titled, "Get Off Your Property, That Part's Mine." This happened to me about 20 years ago, and I just remembered it, so I thought I'd share it. Some background. My house shares a parking lot with 3 other homes. It used to be 4, but when my grandfather owned 4/5 of the houses, he transferred the ownership of the parking of one onto another before selling the property. This meant that one now had extra parking. Now to the story. Since I was a kid, I've always been a massive nerd. Back then, one of my favorite things to do was pick up a stick and go into the parking area behind my house to vanquish evil. Sometimes I'd do this on my bike, sometimes I'd just run around. On this particular instance, I was on my bike leading an army against the forces of evil. That's when it happened. I was confronted by the physical manifestation of evil upon this world. Karen had arrived. Karen seemed to have been angry that a child would dare have fun. She came outside screaming at me to get off her property and stay on my side. Being a scared kid, I listened and did what she said. I ended up going back inside and said nothing. Evil had won the day. The story itself ends there. You might be thinking, while she didn't need to scream at me, she had every right to say what she said. But here's what I learned years later. While she did own all the parking on that side, she didn't own the entirety of that side. Due to more of my grandfather's shenanigans, the property line of my house actually extended into the part I had been playing on. I know this because this woman didn't own any vehicles, and the actual parking spaces were in such disrepair that I didn't like riding my bike there. So it turns out that she had chased me off part of my own property. Even if she didn't know, she still had no right to act the way she had. It's just too bad I didn't tell my mom at the time. She knows how to wield the power of a Karen, but has only ever done so against Karens. If I had said something, I'd have had a more interesting end to the story for sure. But as it is, Karen moved out a few months later, and I went back to playing as I had before. Next one is titled, Office Leech Wants Good Hand Cream. This happened earlier today. One of the girls in my office, S, is known to be a bit of a selfish ditz. Nothing too over the top, just the standard will borrow your umbrella and not return it. Will go into your drawer to grab painkillers, etc. She once dropped part of her lunch on the ground and stood there staring at it until someone else cleaned it up for her. Today she was in fine form, stopping by my desk. She said a quick "Hi, how are you?" And as she was saying this, grabbed my tube of hand cream and helped herself. A bit irritating, but okay. She walked off without waiting for me to finish my sentence and stopped 2 desks over and did the same to another coworker, this time helping herself to perfume. I tucked my hand cream away at my desk. A few hours later, I'm on a call and I see a hand on my desk. She's returned, this time not bothering to even try and say something or get my attention. She fumbles in the spot where the cream should be for a moment before seeing it is gone. She frowns and waits for me to finish my call. After my call, I offer her a sample tube of a different brand of hand cream and tell her she can have it. She looks at it and says, "No, I prefer the other one," and leaves. She goes back to her desk and posts in the office chat, "Hi team, does anyone have any hand cream?" One of the team offers her some basic brand, and once again, she turns up her nose. She is clearly waiting for me to offer her mine. I just typed in the chat, "I offered you a whole tube lol." She did not respond. Next one is titled, Are You Really Complaining Over $20? I used to work the night shift at a casino. There are guests that come in all the time that are high, drunk, or just plain jerks and want to come in to play their money away. There was one guest that happened on a shift I was working. A guest was playing on a slot machine. Let's call her D. C left the machine for a minute to head to the bathroom and get herself a drink. She didn't cash out her money while she was away. By the time she got back to her machine, another guest, the Karen of the story, was playing on it. That led to an argument, and the manager had gotten involved. D explained to the manager that she left money on the machine that Karen was playing on, and she won't leave. Karen denied seeing any money on the machine at all and continued playing. This goes back and forth and starts getting heated between D and Karen to the point that I feared they were about to start throwing hands. The manager gets a hold of the surveillance team and asks to review the footage, and they confirm D's story, and Karen was the one who hopped on the machine right after D left. Once that was confirmed to the manager, she asked security to follow her to Karen to confront her. Once they did and asked her to return the money to D, Karen retorts, "Really? Are you seriously complaining over $20? The manager insisted, "Yes, it's not your money. Now please return it to the guest." Karen begrudgingly hands what's left on the ticket and pulls out her wallet and gives her another $10, which is the amount to what she played at this point, and she stormed off. Last one is titled, Entitlement Does Not Equal Obligation. This happened to me last year at a Costco in my city. I was shopping like normal and got on the line to make my purchases, and while I was waiting, the couple in front of me was told by the cashier that the membership card had expired and needed to be renewed in order to make purchases. Costco has a membership-only card that you pay for yearly. New members pay $1.55 and long-term members pay $1.60. They can be renewed at the front desk or at the registers. Or, if for some reason the card cannot be renewed due to circumstances, a one-use paperwork is given to the membership holder until they can get a new one. Also, Costco is somewhat expensive, so if you're going to shop there, you better have the means to pay for whatever you plan on buying. The couple states that they don't have the money to renew their membership card. They then looked at me and asked, "Excuse me, miss, can you help us? We really want to get these items. Could we use your card?" My response, "You guys have a credit or debit card. You can easily pay for your membership renewal and still buy your items." Damn it, customer service training. Why not? The woman of the couple asked. Because I don't know you. It turned into a back-and-forth argument about how I should help them because I would get points on my card for it. I didn't give in. At least a minute or two later, a manager came to resolve the issue by giving them a one-use paperwork so that they could make their purchase and leave. As they were about to walk away, the woman of the couple says to me, "I hope someone helps you out when you need it." I wanted to say something to put her and her husband in their place, but chose to be the bigger person and said nothing. As I walked up next in line, the cashier was shaking her head and said, "Wow, she was rude." I agreed and continued to make my purchase. Now, I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. This couple was not elderly and didn't have a problem paying for anything. They didn't want to back down and should have been more responsible for their own card. A regular membership card that never expires would be okay, but this is Costco, not CVS or Duane Reade or ShopRite for that matter. Thanks for listening.